97. Okay. Hey, same year, 7-5. Okay. Another 7-5 year. It's like we're talking about the Tommy Bowden era here. So best win at South Carolina. Look, anytime you can win at South Carolina, it's a good thing, especially when you beat them 47-21. That's a good thing. Gamecocks actually weren't as bad a team as their record showed that year. They had several losses to some ranked opponents, so I thought that was the best win definitely that year. Worst loss home versus Virginia, 21-7. Virginia was not a real good team that year. We didn't have a ton of atrocious losses that year. I don't recall when I was looking through this list, but Virginia was kind of a middle of the road kind of team, a little bit below average. So you don't ever want to lose at home, especially not by a couple touchdowns. The best player on offense. All right, I think you're gonna like this. Okay, just because
All right,
I
give it
had
to
a
me.
debate here, but I'm gonna give it to Nealon Green. Okay, his stats were much better this year. He had 180 passes for 2,200 yards, a little over 2,200 yards, 16 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. His touchdown to interception ratio was not good in a couple of the previous years, which is one of the reasons I did not give him kind of the go ahead there. My kind of honorable mention there was Tony Horn. He had a good year, wide receiver, 70 receptions, 907 yards, 8 touchdowns. Okay, so that was a really big year for wide receiver back then for sure. Best player on defense, again, I had Anthony Simmons as my guy. He had 158 tackles, 25 tackles for loss, 8 sacked, first team All American. That was his third consecutive year as first team All American, drafted 15th overall by the Seattle Seahawks. Anthony Simmons, again, one of my favorite linebackers, one of the guys I wish we had on the team now. He's just a crazy hard hitter. Love the aggressiveness, love those kind of guys. So hopefully we can get another one like that soon.
Yeah, I mean, great player. But they had a lot of really good linebackers. I mean, Raheem Abdullah played in the NFL. As we said, Simmons, first round draft pick. And then you've got, Childress, also played in the NFL. So, also in '97, Lorenzo Brommel, junior college transfer, played 1 year, 7 years in the NFL. So, and then you had Trevor Price, I believe, back in '96, played 14 years in the NFL. So you got to one. It's not like it is nowadays. Kind of spoiled when you have like 3 first rounders, or
Yeah,
you're going to get 2 first rounders. I remember as a kid, Al, it was like a dream to get a first rounder. I mean,
sure.
you weren't going to get one every single year like you kind of are now. It's a little bit spoiled in a lot of sense. I wonder how my daughter or our daughters are going to act or react. I hope they not. I hope they don't have like this privileged Alabama feeling like we're always been the best, because it hasn't always been that way. Gone through some ups and downs for sure. Some controversy, some drama, some good times, some bad times, some sad times. But again, we're at 97, right? So this is the second to last year for him. 7-5, lost to Auburn in the Peach Bowl, 13 Auburn. I had Anthony Simmons as the best player. He had 158 tackles that year. So I mean, amazing player as well. Another, let's see, 12 games. I'm gonna do the math for you again. 158, 12, so 13.1 tackles per game. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Even for nowadays standards, it's ridiculous. And then offense, you talked about Tony Horn. I mean, in that day and age, to have somebody when you're normally not getting more than 30 receptions in a year to go then get 70, more than Justin Ross this year, and have 900 yards. Now he didn't get that's a lot of receptions to get that many yards. I would hope that he would have probably maybe had more yards, but 13 yards is decent for sure with 8 touchdowns. So great player for the Tigers. And then, like I said, he was a good punt returner for the Rams. I think he played for the Rams for 3 years. So props to Tony Horn there. Props to Anthony Simmons. I believe this was his last year. Simmons decided not to play as a senior and go to the NFL, which, he was a first-round draft pick. But best win for me, again, it all revolves around South Carolina back in these days. No wonder we were so, big on the rivalry. It seems like the rivalry's kind of died down a lot over
Yeah.
I don't really know why it's died down. Typically, it usually dies down when a team loses like 1 or 2 or 6,
Yeah.
but I'm not really sure. Maybe that's the reason. But right back then in the late '90s, it was back and forth. Like I said, they were up 14-3, and the crowd was rocking in Willie. All right, crowd was freaking rocking, And I believe the Tigers. So I watched this. So Brian Wofford gets a quick touchdown. Tony Horn, the next series, gets a punt return touchdown. And then Antoine Edwards gets a pick six touchdown. And basically the crowd goes from like rocking to like dead silent. So 3 like huge plays back to back each series was pretty awesome there. Raymond Priester had a good game. Nealon Green had a great game. Just a ton of great plays. And you just go watch that. The 97 Clemson Carolina game, really fun to watch. For worst loss for me, I actually put 2 because if you look at them, Al, and you watch that Carolina game, they talk about it. They lost to Florida State, a top 10 team, by a touchdown.
Right.
They then lost to North Carolina, another top 10 team at the time, by a touchdown. So who knows, man? 1 touchdown difference could have changed 1997 completely. That could have been maybe a 10-win team. You never know. That could have been a turning point. That could have been more years for Tommy West, because I believe he did get an extension. From the notes I have, I believe he got an extension after this year, but it was renegotiated to where his buyout would be lower. So they gave him an extension, but made his buyout lower. So then it was kind of like, well, if you're not good in 98, we'll cut you.